Okay. Okay, then good evening, everyone. I really want to welcome you to our, why it doesn't want to our today call, and it will be about gluten, and it's acting on me, this computer. First slide disappears somewhere, and I don't know how to, oh no, I don't want to get, here we go. Then again, welcome, and tonight call, it will be about gluten, and it's because I am a holistic nutritionist. I did my master's in nutrition, and I really wanted to understand how food is working in our body on a cellular level. And I did my master's in nutrition now, when I finished, at least 11 years, 12 years ago. And it's always, even when I work in a naturopathic clinic, the first thing what you do to people to really take away all the damaging foods, first was gluten and second was dairy, right? Then and now we have with our Juice Plus program, we have program which we call Shred 10, which is actually suggesting to take gluten out of your diet. And I see it over and over again. People say, why gluten? Like, I am not gluten sensitive. I am not celiac. Why I should take away gluten? And more and more I am studying it. Me, myself, I don't eat gluten. If I do eat gluten, I really feel it. I am not celiac. I go tested. But specifically, even if I go in Europe, because it's no GMO wheat in Europe, then I can tolerate it for 1 week. But after that, I start to feel it. Fog brain, really tired, circle under the eyes, and bloating. Here, I have gluten, and I am literally hangover next day. It's really, I really feel it. And again, we are all very different. Everybody's body and digestion works differently. But really, gluten, if you take it away, most of the people will see the benefits. And now, then I decided I will do it actually in a few series, because it's quite a complex issue. And in today's call, I will be mostly talking about how our digestive system works and what really gluten does as far as the absorption of our food and creating leaky gut syndrome. Then we'll go into details, then really you understand what is happening in our body when we eat this protein. Then again, wheat, as far as the modern wheat, it's very different from the wheat hundreds of years ago, because with different hybridization, genetic engineering, we are creating wheat which has now 85% more gluten, and gluten is the protein in a wheat, than had 150 years ago. Then bread which we are eating now, it's very different even from my grandma, what she was eating. And this is why we see such a big outpouring of the problems by eating wheat. It doesn't matter if it's organically grown, no organically grown, whole wheat, white wheat, it's all the same. And on the top in our body, it's actually because the wheat really spiked the sugar level in our bloodstream, which is not good either. Then a lot of different studies coming out showing how actually gluten or the modern wheat can be cause of any diseases from the brain to your toe. Okay, and then because it's becoming quite a complex as far as the more and more science is coming out, then it's why we'll be broken to the more series. And then, first we will be talking about the villi. Villi is covering our intestines, and why it is so damaging to our intestine, the gluten. Where if you look our digestive system, then it's really tube. It's starting in the mouth and it's ending, right? And when we eat the food, when it's still in this kind of tube, it's still actually outside of our body. It's not going to the bloodstream. And where it goes to the tummy, and actually the most absorption is happening in our small intestine. And if you look at it, the length of intestine, it can be 20 to 30 feet. Then it's a lot. It's a lot of feet of the intestine. And if you actually spread it flat, the surface of the intestine can be up to 300 square feet, which is like the size of the large tennis court. Then now you look your intestines, how that it's possible. And it's possible because the lining of the intestine is actually filled or created with that, which we call villi. And they are there to really, they work for you. They are this intestinal cells that covered with the villi, and all the absorption is happening through them. Then we really want to keep them very healthy because they work very, very hard. Okay, it's why it's possible if you imagine all that surface of the intestine, it's actually increased because of the villi. Okay, and then now let's imagine we eat the burger with a nice whole wheat bun. And what is happening in our body? Well, it goes first to the tummy and gets broken down, but it's most of the breaking it down and absorption is happening in our small intestine. And then food inside the food tube, it's not really inside the body, it's still kept inside of that tube. But when it's actually enters the body, they started to absorb it, then now it's entering inside in your body, in your bloodstream. And that is a very important point because gluten, it's really protein which is almost impossible to be broken down by the enzymes in the villi. And I will be showing you what it can be actually causing in our body. And then villi are covered with the tiny hairs lined with enzymes. And these enzymes, they work like scissors in our body. They really cut the food on the small pieces until they are so small they can actually cross the which we call tight junction and go in the bloodstream, okay, as the really simple nutrients. And then they are covered with these enzymes, these little scissors, and they are very, very important. And the food particles that touch the villi, enzymes break them into the smaller and smaller pieces until we can bring them inside in the bloodstream. And now that broken food, it's going through the bloodstream to our cells and started to feed all our body. Okay. Now, if everything works great, everything is broken down to the small particles, which they are not damaging the bloodstream just grab it and take it to the organs and cells. But if that it's not broken properly and there are these food chunks, literally, which actually from the gluten, it is still as a chunk, or bacteria or toxins, they can go inside of the bloodstream. And this is what it's making us sick. Okay. Then any questions? So, oh, yeah, I'm muted. Then I will be taking questions at the end, please. Now, the tight, which we call it tight junction, form a strong protective barrier. And it is really protection. Then if you imagine this villi, if you snorkel, if you look down in the ocean, then you have this beautiful seaweed just nicely floating, and it's exactly how the villi, they look in our intestine. They are very sensitive, very fragile, but very powerful because they really help to broken down all the food which we eat. And the last protective layer is this very tight junction, really we call it tight junction, between the villi cells, which is protecting any food which they can go inside, which is not broken properly, and it's saying the bacteria stay toxins out and so on. Then if we have this, then we have nicely healthy gut. okay? But if for some reason this get broken, which we call to it leaky gut, this is what we call the leaky gut syndrome, okay? Then how come this junction suddenly can be broken? How come it can be open? What is opening it? Well, this is now a new research and showing actually if this happened, then bacteria, toxins, viruses, or undigested food, not properly broken by that enzymes on villi, can go in the bloodstream and make us sick, okay? But why it's this sometimes happening, sometimes closed, sometimes open, it's actually that should be not happening. It's why we call it leaky gut syndrome, because all these bad things, they can go now in our bloodstream and cause inflammation, which is causing any degenerative disease. Okay, and why, like for example, celiac, which they have a gluten, they end up in the bathroom, right? Because it's really huge inflammation in their intestines. This is now a new research showing how gluten stimulates in our body to make zonulin. Then what is a zonulin? Zonulin is actually protein which is created in our body, and this protein actually open this junction, then almost like creates this leaky gut. But when it's in a small amount, it's actually for our protection, because if we have any bacteria or viruses, then it actually allows the liquid comes to the intestine and flush them out. Okay, then they get it eliminated by stool or by urine. Then we want this little bit be happening, but when it's opening all the time, then it's what it's calling that leaky gut syndrome. Okay, and I will just move this. Can I move this? No, I can't move it. Sorry. Then sometimes the outside forces, they can control your zonulin. Like for example, cholera, dysentery, and with gluten, they stimulate of making of the zonulin, of this protein, which triggers into the opening tight junctions. Okay, then now it's why with gluten it can be creating this leaky gut syndrome, because it's really stimulating formation of the zonulin in our intestines, which they are opening the very, very tight, that tight junction between the cells of that layer, which is not good. and it's actually zonulin really loves gluten. It's really increased the formation of the zonulin. And for example, people with celiac disease produce 30 times more of the zonulin than others. And it's why they are so sick when they eat the wheat, right? Because it's like leaking all the food and they end up in the bathroom almost all day long. Then now that it's what it's actually now research is showing how gluten can be causing this leaky gut syndrome, which is linked to any degenerative disease in our body, because it's creating this inflammation on a cellular level, okay, that fire within. And here we have pictures about it. And what else can be triggering this inflammation? Harmful microbes, bacteria, fungi, viruses, parasites. Stress is a big one. Chronic stress, worry, anger, sorrow, depression, poor sleep, they can be causing leaky gut syndrome. Environmental toxins, inflammatory foods, frequent blood sugar spikes, that it's really damaging our intestinal layer, and food sensitivities like dairy, eggs, peanuts. Everybody has, some people, they have certain food sensitivity, that all can be triggering this inflammation in our intestines. Okay, And then now I will go a little bit like what really can be protecting us. And we will go in the next call a little bit more in the detail, how gluten, how come we have now so much gluten in our food, and what else that can be doing. And very important is to really eat as many fruits and vegetables you can, because it's not only giving you all the nutrients which you need in your body, but it's giving you the fiber, which is very beneficial for the healthy bacteria in our guts as well. And that is why I actually call it the Phytos for Life, because they really are supporting us to have, like, if you look at our body, we are using macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients, that is proteins, fat, and carbohydrates, and micronutrients, that is micronutrients which they are in the fruits and vegetables. We call them phytochemicals, phytonutrients. Like if you imagine your body is this engine, and that gasoline is the macronutrients, and that oil which is running that engine nice and smoothly, that is micronutrients, phytochemicals from the fruits and vegetables and spices. And this is what Juice Plus is. It's really micronutrients in the capsule form or soft chewables. We have 30 different fruits and vegetables and berries in the capsule form. And why Juice Plus it's so powerful, and here you see some open capsules, fruits, vegetables, and berries. You take 2 of each. It was picked when it was vine ripened. It's a whole food, and it's a rainbow variety. That it means all these wonderful thousands and thousands of phytonutrients, they work in a synergy, which is so important for digestion because it's so easy to be absorbed. It almost get immediately absorbed in our intestines, regardless if people they have celiac, regardless if people they have leaky gut syndrome, because it's because cellular membrane of the plant is broken, and then it's actually so easy to be absorbed. And you know, if you put Juice Plus in the water, then within a few hours you will see it's get completely dissolved. Then it's so beneficial for people which they have any kind of digestive problems, because they really get absorbed and end up in the bloodstream and feeding your cells. And this is my story, how I was introduced 17 years ago actually to Juice Plus. This is my son Lucas, and when he was 6 years old, he was diagnosed with pre-asthmatic condition. And at that time, I was working still in naturopathic clinic, and then I tried everything: elimination diet, no gluten, no dairy. I have so many different supplements, B12 shots, homeopathy, you name it, and nothing was really helping. And how Lucas actually got that weak lungs when he was 3 years old, he got whooping cough. And not full blown, but since that his lungs, they were always this weak link in his body. And my doctor told me you have to put him on a puffer. And I said, no way, I know all the side effects. Then he said, yeah, on your own. Then my friend shared with me Juice Plus. And then I started him right away on 2 and 2 capsules, 2 fruits, 2 vegetables. Berries brand came on the market 1 year later. And within a few months, his lungs, they completely clear up. He never had to start any medication. And this is when it was in April, I signed him in the karate classes. And when he was 16, he wanted to be a scuba diver. Then he did PADI here in the cold water. And after 4 years, he was going to Hawaii. Then he's now scuba dive master, and he is an electric engineer. He just actually graduated last year. And as we speak, he is packing, and they are going traveling for 3 months to the South Asia, and he will be diving there. Then I am so grateful to my friend sharing with me Juice Plus. And, you know, I'm sure if I look, definitely he still doesn't really thrive on wheat. And he feels it when he, if he eats wheat, and then he feels so much more tired and so on, then that everybody, it's very different. Some people, they eat wheat and they don't feel it. Some people, they eat it and they feel it immediately, right? Everybody's detoxification is different and so on. then here's the reason why I'm sharing with people this power of the 45 different whole foods, which is Juice Plus. Then you have 30 different fruits and vegetables and berries, plus we have the shake, which is the complex carbohydrate, protein, and some fats, but it's everything plant-based, and it's no GMO, no dairy, and it's vegan. Then everybody can take it. And it's NSF certified, which is very important because it's third-party random testing, which is showing there are no chemical residue, no foreign contaminants, and it's around for more than 24 years now. And we have 35 published studies in the peer-reviewed medical journals showing how Juice Plus is improving immune system function, decreasing inflammation, decreasing oxidative stress, healthy cardiovascular system, keeping our DNA integrity, healthy gums, healthy skin, healthy babies, healthy moms, you name it. Then it's really doing what fruits and vegetables should be doing in our bodies. This is what research is showing really Juice Plus does. And that will be all for today. And I will take some questions, and next call, which will be in 2 weeks, we will be talking more about the science behind non-celiac gluten intolerance, because a lot of research is coming out about that. Then I will take, if anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourself.
What do I want to ask?
Oops.
So, oh, hello.
Yeah, I am here.
So I'm gluten sensitive, but so likely I have this leaky gut syndrome going on, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only way to deal with that or correct it is to eliminate the gluten, right?
That's right. And, we have, like, I don't know if Nicole, she taught you about the program Shred 10, and that it's actually adding more good things in your diet and taking bad things away. Then first, we really recommend that one first simple change started to add Juice Plus in your diet, because with that, you will get that a sense of that 30 different fruits and vegetables and berries coming in your body day in, day out. And regardless if it's leaky gut, whatever, because it's gluten-free, non-GMO, no dairy, right, vegan, then with that you will have that, I call it almost like the nutritional seed bell and foundation. Then you are not malnourished as far as the micronutrients. And next step is really eliminate gluten. And that it's sometimes people, I say, even if you can do it for 5 days and really write your diary, like, how did you feel? And you will see the big differences how people they started to feel.
I've already started to really try and cut out bread. And today at work, I made a wrap for lunch, a whole wheat wrap thing, and I ate that and I felt horrible after. So so that's just got to go, all of that. How long does it take generally to heal a leaky gut? If you cut out all the sources of gluten and eat properly, does it vary? How long, the healing process, how long it takes?
Well, actually can be quite a quick. Sometimes, because what is happening, that the intestinal layer, it's very quickly growing cells. Then that the cell turn out, it's quite a quick. Then once you stop it being constantly irritating it and damaging, can really repair. It's not for the life sense. Everything is reversible in our body.
They slough off and regenerate and that sort of thing. So
yes.
That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
similar to the villi that are in the lungs that get credit up if you're smoking.
That's right. That's right. We have this amazing healing capacity, if you will, our body, if you give it what it needs. Then once you stop that irritant going in your body, then you and adding Juice Plus, which will be creating healthier every cell, which will be new one born in your body, you will creating healthier and healthier, not only your intestinal layer, but every cell in your body, if you will.
Okay. When are you doing your leaky gut presentation?